Communism has a happy face. It's a fashion statement. Call somebody a communist and it's a joke. But as you've seen tonight, from Hollywood to class to the Oval Office, Marxism is alive and well. It is thriving here in the United States. You might know what it is, but our children do not. We just think that somehow or another they know, but they do not. And they are not being taught the evil of communism and socialism. Progressives do know what it means, and they can mutate it. It always mutates. It goes undercover. Vladimir Putin was a lieutenant colonel. There he is. KGB. Artists who portray him negatively, people handing out anti-Putin information, have been arrested by Secret Service police now. Other opponents, like former KGB agent Alexander Levinko, mysteriously gets poisoned. How? Putin now has videos made glorifying him. He's pictured riding shirtless on his horseback. The guy was a KGB agent. Where was the turning point? I believe America's turning point was Joseph McCarthy. And again, with the Berlin Wall falling down. Joseph McCarthy was so discredited, it made it almost into a joke. And when the Berlin Wall fell down, we beat it. And so now we disregarded it. Well, here we go again, down the same road. I want to bring in M. Stanton Evans. He is the author of Blacklisted by History, the untold story of Senator Joe McCarthy. What an honor to meet you, sir.
The honor is mine.
Do you remember I called you maybe 3 years ago?
3 years.
3 years ago? And
2007.
And I said, I can't even finish your book. I can't. Remember that? I said, I don't want to believe this stuff, and I wanted to find out if you were a crackpot or not, because I didn't want to fill my head full of crackpot stuff.
Right.
And we had a conversation.
We did.
Tell me, America, this is such an important turning point. Tell me, when you went to go look for the documents on Joseph McCarthy, what did you find or not find?
I found a lot of stuff missing, a lot of stuff that had been censored, a lot of stuff that was in the records in one place but blacked out in another place. Mostly what I found was that the FBI files, which backed up what McCarthy was saying, had been withheld for 50 years. And we now have them, or many of them, and they show essentially that he was right in general. There was a massive penetration of the government, and that it was covered up, and that he threatened that cover-up. And that's why he was isolated, demonized, and destroyed. Right. That's the technique.
Okay. Tell me about Dies, because he was a Democrat.
He was the precursor of McCarthy in the sense that he investigated the same things. He was doing it at a time, he was a Democrat, he was the chairman of a committee. He was doing it at a time, mostly in World War II, when the Soviet Union was our ally. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people just didn't pay any attention to him. I mean, I had those hearings, they're very fine hearings. But a lot of the information that McCarthy later had, Dies did not have. He did not have direct access to the FBI stuff. I'm not sure McCarthy did either, but McCarthy had more stuff coming into him.
And McCarthy was, I mean, he was just an imperfect vessel, or was he not? Was he clean? Was he just completely...
He was imperfect, as we all are.
Yeah, yeah.
He made his mistakes, but he was telling the truth.
Okay.
And the truth was huge. It was so huge. We turned out the big lie, Hitler, and so there's also a big truth so big that people can't believe it.
Right.
And that's why, what you're saying.
That's why I didn't want to read this, because it changes your focus, and nobody wants to, I mean, gosh, nobody wants to believe that there were people in our government that were bad. You can believe in individuals, but you can't believe this mass kind of, this cover-up.
There were hundreds of them.
You showed me a document. Can you bring this again? Yes. Tell me what this document is. This, well, America will horrify you.
What this is, Glenn, is a record of the so-called Yalta Conference. This is long before McCarthy came along. This is 1945, where Churchill and Roosevelt met with Stalin at Yalta, which is a resort on the Black Sea in the Crimea. And this is the transcript of or the minutes of what happened at that meeting. An official version of this was published, but the paragraph that I'm gonna, maybe I'll give it to you to read.
Yeah.
Is about Roosevelt is saying to Stalin and Churchill that he is going to meet with the king of Saudi Arabia after this conference, King Saud. And Stalin asked him, does he intend to make any concessions to King Saud of Saudi Arabia? And I'll let you read what the answer is for the arrows.
The president replied that there was only one concession he thought he might offer, and that was to give him the 6 million Jews in the United States.
Yes, that is.
This is a collection, where is this from?
That is from the papers of Edward Stettinius, who was the Secretary of State at the time of Yalta. Those papers are at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. That paragraph
What does he mean by he'd give?
Well, one might think that he was a closet anti-Semite, but I think it also suggests that maybe he was a little bit gaga.
This is at the end of, this is real close to the end of.
He died 2 months after Yalta. And so he was, there are many other indications that he was out of it at Yalta, but that is one of the clearest ones, and that is edited. That's no longer in the official record.
Okay.
You have to go to the archives to find that.
How surprised were you when you first started doing research on how much has been edited and buried? We don't even know who we are.
I'm going in was not exactly naive, but I gotta say, I have something I call Evans' Law of inadequate paranoia, which says that no matter how bad you think something is, when you look into it, it's always worse. And this has been totally vindicated. Every time I turn around, I'm finding something else that makes me say, I can't believe that. I'm like you, I can't believe this.
All right.
I didn't believe that.
I want to take you next. We're gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna come back because some people will say that's ancient history. Yeah, sure. You'll discredit the founders, but something that happened in 1948 or 1950 is ancient history. Let's go to today, and we have the timeline here. Show me what is being affected now. The same things that happened then that are happening now. Hang on, we'll be back in just a second.